What happens when the Americans try to make whiskey the Scottish way? We're about to find out. Hello and welcome back to the channel, and yes, today I am taking a look at Jack Daniel's single malt, one of the greatest oddities to ever grace the whiskey shelves behind me. This is kind of a travel exclusive. It certainly was, or started out life as a travel exclusive, but as I've now learnt, you can pick this up at a few online retailers in the UK without having to go on an aeroplane. It is a little pricey though if you do it that way, but we'll discuss later on whether I really think it's worth it or not. So what is it? Well, it is a single malt, the same thing you associate mostly with Scotch whisky. Other people of course do make single malts all over the world, but Scotland really is the home of it, and this, unlike bourbon, will be made entirely of malted barley. There'll be no corn, no rye, no wheat, no nothing. 100% American malted barley in this, which will be very interesting. And I don't know how they're going to have gone about that maturation process. Will they have used their fresh traditional bourbon barrels at all or not? It does say on the front here that it is an Oloroso sherry cask finish, so expecting some big sweet berries and cherry vibes from it. But yeah, it will definitely be an interesting one. Now, to be honest with you, that is pretty much all I've got to tell you about it before we try it, because there isn't a great deal of information out there in terms of official channels, i.e. Jack Daniel's themselves don't give much away about this bottle online, but I guess we're about to find out. One thing though I do want to say before we crack it open is how good this bottle looks. Now, if you're thinking that looks quite big, yes it is. It's a litre bottle. Jack Daniel's and a few others do seem, when it comes to travel exclusives, to like putting things into litre bottles, which, to be honest, I'm pretty appreciative of. I think it makes it a slightly better buy, even though it is still pretty pricey. We'll get onto the price a bit later. But the design on that, I don't know if you can tell. I don't know if it's coming across on camera. I'll try and catch it on the light. There you go. It's very reminiscent of the current Jack Daniel's bottles, and indeed the classic ones that were fully square, but it's got something a bit more old-timey about it, a bit more Wild West saloon vibes. I don't know, it's just a very pretty thing to look at, and I'll be honest, pretty heavy. Now then, just as we break into this, I should say a few people in the comments of some of my other videos quite a while ago now did say you really should try some American single malt to see how you feel about it, and I've been intending to be honest, but there's not a lot of it around, especially in the UK. And for one to start with, I mean, is there a more American drinks brand in the world than Jack Daniel's? I don't think so. On the subject of getting into it though, actually I'm not sure how you're meant to. There's no obvious perforation lights on this top. Oh, there's a tiny one at the top. Time to get a little tool on the case here. Could refer to me all this. We are in. It's got a very nice wooden top on the top of the cork on this. It says DSP-TN1. Not sure what that means. Tennessee one, I would guess, but yeah, around the outside it says America's first registered distillery, so maybe that's their distillery number. It is number 1. That was the most disappointing cork pop. There was no sound at all, but anyway. Ooh, interesting aromas off the start there. Let's get a dram poured. Now, of course, this is a freshly opened bottle. It might not be at its absolute best, but it is a fair test, as I said before, when I do all these on fresh pours. I'll be honest, there is a nice, big, rich... It's starting to smell a lot like Christmas pudding in the room. I guess it's that Oloroso cask, those big, heavy, red fruit notes. It's, yeah, very nice indeed. Visually, it's really dark actually. It's almost gone into treacle territory. It's that dark. A lot of that again from the Oloroso cask. That said, you don't see many Scotch single malts as dark as this, even when they've used Oloroso cask. So I do wonder if some of that heavy charring barrel work that they use in the bourbon, or Tennessee whiskey in Jack Daniel's case, has gone into this. It will be very interesting to see if we can work it out. But aroma wise, very much continuing that Christmassy theme. It's got a bit of a banana-y bubblegum thing up front. Gets deep into those big boozy sherry notes like that, you know, that proper fortified wine territory. Everything below that is big, dark, rich, heavy, boozy fruit. It really is just It's fruit compote taken to the nines. It is absolutely just depthy, I think, is really what I'm trying to get across. The breadth of flavour isn't huge, or the breadth of aroma, should I say, isn't huge. It's very much those light kind of banana-y bubblegum tones at the top, and then some nice mid-tones that, again, very much brandy focused, fortified wine, and then that bit at the bottom is just, it feels like it goes on forever. It doesn't leave your nostrils in a hurry, but it's quite one-dimensional. It's just, yeah, as I said, a big, heavy, boozy fruit compote kind of a thing. So, let's get into it, shall we? Cheers. I like Scotch whiskey, I like American whiskey, and in fact, I like whiskey from most parts of the world. But that, I'm pulling your leg, is pretty sensational, to be honest. The flavours absolutely work. It is a fantastic, fantastic dram. It's not the best thing I've ever tasted, but in terms of coming away from their traditional bourbon and rye roots into the world of 100% malted barley, that really is a very good effort. Now, of course, there's an argument to say that, of course, it absolutely should be. It's not like people haven't been brewing with malted barley in the US for a long time now. They have, they've just often cut it with different things. This, though, does take it to a new realm. It's got some nice heat, it's got some nice flavour. It's not the depthiest, though, and I think that is where it's going to struggle to justify its price tag. Now, I promise we will get onto the price, but I want to give it its dues in terms of a taste test first. So, top to bottom taste test time. Initially, right on the tip of the tongue. Sweet, creme caramel, vanilla, like distinctly quite bourbon feeling. That might be some of that barrel work that I was talking about before. It might explain the colour. There's definitely something of that generic vanilla flair that you get in bourbon right on the tip of the tongue in this. It's not something that you don't see in Scotch, but its delivery in Scotch is incredibly different. This feels much more American in that respect. Over the mid palate, a little bit herbal, a little bit antiseptic, a little bit foresty, but it's kind of fresh, green. It's not too depthy, it's not too raw. And to be completely honest with you, I wasn't really expecting that from the aroma. It's nice, it's relatively refreshing, and the only complaint I have really is that all of those flavours sit along a very similar level of depth and intensity. We're not going on a roller coaster here. It's just kind of one linking into the next, linking into the next. It's not a bad thing, but it's not, again, the most involved experience. On the back of the tongue, that kind of antiseptic thing from before, it kind of brings through, starts to show off the actual raw alcohol that's in here. By the way, we've not even touched on ABV. This is a 45% or 90 proof bottle, which for the style, I think probably works pretty well. To be honest, it could be higher, but I don't think it needs it. It's boozy, but it's not over the top. It's a nice general sipper, is what I would say. But actually, back at the top, there's not a huge amount of flavour. It gets very clean, very, antiseptic, very boozy. It's just, not much really to talk about. The aftertaste, though, where you start to pick up some more of that proper sherry cask influence. It is definitely Christmassy. It's kind of nuts, raisins. It's not got to the point of the full Christmas pudding, though. It's not that rich, it's not that plummy, it's not that depthy. It's a few light snacks on Christmas Eve. It's not your main event Christmas dinner. Now, I've long said that the test of a good drink on this channel is how quickly I finish it whilst I'm filming, and to be honest, that's already gone, so I might have to pour another. I am enjoying it. I absolutely am enjoying that. It's incredibly easy to drink. The flavours are nice. It feels balanced, but it really isn't all that depthy, and that is where the problem comes with the price. If you want to go and buy this in the UK right now online, it's going to cost you £100 a bottle, which, well, that's quite a lot. And if you're thinking, actually, it's okay, because I like the sound of it, but I don't want to spend 100 quid on a bottle, but it's all right because I'm going on holiday next week, it's still going to cost you about 80 at the least, if not a bit more, if you get it from an airport. I'm sure there are some airports in the world where the exchange rate means that actually it comes down a bit lower, but in general, and this one came from the US, it still cost about 80 quid. So look, it's a pricey thing for something that is just nice. It's very nice. It's a 50 quid bottle all day long. It's a 60 quid bottle all day long. but I'm going to struggle to push it past that at this point. Hopefully, with a bit of time, once it's been in the bottle for a bit, got a bit of oxygen to it, it might start to open up and show off a few more intense flavour notes. But for now, it does just feel a little bit closed off. So I'll go back, I'll keep trying it, and if there is a notable change, if this suddenly becomes the best bottle in the world, I'll do another video on it and let you know. But for now, I'm going to say, it's very nice. You're probably not going to be disappointed. I'm certainly not. I don't hate the fact that I spent some money on this, but I don't think I can honestly recommend you spend that much on it if you're looking for a massive experience. That said, and there's always a caveat, if you are someone who is well into American whiskey, you want to get into Scotch whiskey and other world whiskies, but you've never quite managed to make the link, and I do tend to recommend a lot of things that I think are good kind of bridging gaps, nothing is as good as this, because this is all of that American flavour style packaged in the Scottish way, in big quotes because other people make it, but the Scottish way, and as a result is a really nice stepping stone. If you like bourbon, you're not going to be absolutely shocked by this, I don't think. It's not as sweet, but it still has some of those recognisable tones, and it doesn't have a huge amount of any of those slightly more challenging notes people are often put off by in Scotch. So as a result, fantastic bridging whiskey, but for people who are already well accustomed to both, depends really just how much you like the brand Jack Daniels. And to be honest, that really is all I've got to say about it. So as always, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like it. If you haven't already, subscribe if you will be so kind, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers.